Yeah, welcome to Easy Mathematics and a new video. Today we're talking about using BB codes in PHP. And yeah, I use the framework CodeIgniter, but we are not dependent on CodeIgniter, of course. Yeah, this is a small introduction. First, we talk about some theoretical stuff, and then I show you some examples how you can use it. And yeah, okay, so let's see in detail. First we talk about why we use BB codes. Then we talk about the structure and security, stuff like that. Then we talk about our goal. Yeah, and then we get to work and we see that in some cases it can still be dangerous and what we can do. Okay, so why BB codes? Yeah, first thing is of course for design. You can give users the power to use emote icons, for example, or make stuff bold and italics or stuff like that. But, and this is very beautiful, we will see, for example, if you use CodeIgniter and you have a block, then you can use your own BB codes for structuring your block. Okay, we will see this in detail. And of course, why we should use it, of course, for security reasons. Imagine you have a guest book and it's not a good idea to allow direct HTML or PHP input from the user. And with BB codes we allow only specific tags. Okay, so basically what we want to do is we want to allow users to write stuff like that. Here's some content in between an open tag and a closing tag, and then we want to convert it in HTML. Okay, so for example, in a bold tag with square brackets, and this we convert to HTML tags. Okay, and the result of course is something like this. Okay, and then we have another BB code. You know that sometimes it's necessary to allow attributes. For example, at the color tag, we want color red, and this should be transformed to, for example, font color red and the content, and the result is something like this. Okay, yeah, in the internet there are many examples of BB codes and stuff like that, and I want to talk about especially about the security, and this is basically the first point. Never trust user input. This is the first rule. If you allow user to use some HTML tags, never trust user input. So this is the main reason why BB codes are very useful. And yeah, for example, here the color red, I can, let's say for example, I can put here some JavaScript blah blah blah. So it's useful to use whitelists, and this is what I want to show how we can use it. For example, a whitelist could be function whitelist color. Then we take here the user input and we check if it's in an array of defined colors. If not, we can set the color to a default value, for example black. Okay, and afterwards, if you And afterwards, the conversion between BB codes and HTML, you should check and clean up again with some XSS clean function. If you are familiar with CodeIgniter, then there is a powerful XSS clean function. Yeah. And afterwards we will do this. So first we should use the XSS clean. Then these tags are still there because this is not valid HTML. And after all dangerous stuff is away, we can take care of the conversion. Okay, this is so the basic of this. Yeah, and our goal is to define some beautiful and powerful BB codes. And how we do this? Yeah, the basic coding of all this is we define an array, for example BBC tags. Yeah, and here are some patterns. This is for the bold tag, and the array value is the corresponding HTML tag. Okay, so this is what you have seen before, pretty sure. And here we escape the square brackets because it's part of regular expressions. Then we take the content between these tags if it's found and replace it with this stuff. Okay. And of course we can do it with, for example, color tag. Yeah, there are two gaps to find, and the first gap is for the color, the second gap is what should be colored. Okay, and this part here is dangerous. We'll talk about this in 1 minute. Yeah, and then what you basically do is you write a break replace function, you give the array keys, you give the array values, and you give the cleaned up string. Okay, and then you can echo it out and whatever you want to do with that. Okay, and for this stuff, if you want to take care of user input, what I recommend is, and if you want to have control about the user input, you should use not break replace, we use break replace callback. Okay, and the function, it expects a pattern, for example our color pattern. Then it expects a function what to do with the gaps. Yeah, and of course the string which string we want to search for. Okay, and it returns of course the it returns the string with the converted HTML. Okay, and how we can check it, for example, the color tag. We write a function with an argument string, and in this string there are the gaps, and you can access the gaps with string 1, this would be this gap, string 2, this would be this gap, and in the function you can return some HTML, feel free, whatever you want to give back. And with the gaps, now we are able to check if this gap for the color is in our whitelist, for example red, green, blue and stuff like that, and if not, return black like a default value. Okay, perfect. So this is the basic idea of what we want to do, and because of this part, maybe you can guess it, yeah, we are able to write beautiful BB codes. For example, a slider show, if you want to be crazy, you can do like a picture gallery in a nice way, so there are no borders for BB codes. And yeah, I want to show you some of them in detail. And yeah, this is here. Like I said, I use CodeIgniter and I use the template parser, and my BBCode function is in the parser. You find it in the library, and I wrote here. I wrote a function BBCode. It expects the text and the user group. Let's say you have a login and stuff like that, yeah, and then with this user group you can select yeah, the BB codes. For example, for the admin there are some more BB codes, and visitor is maybe only bold and italic and stuff like that, yeah, but this is right now not so important. Yeah, I want to show you some nice BB codes. Of course, we start with the basics. Here is the bold tag, here is the italic tag, then yeah, underline, span style, text decoration, underline. Then maybe one can think about a strike tag, or the new HTML5 tags for var, as a variable, or the keyboard tag is also pretty nice. And then some advanced BB codes, for example, the URL tag, you know, or the image tag and stuff like that. The spoiler tag, you can think about a spoiler tag, and of course about a table tag, and so on. And I want to show you how you can use these tags for structuring, for example. Imagine this BB tag jumbotron, yeah, and what it does is it returns a function, and the function you find in the bootstrap helper. You can define a bootstrap helper, for example, and there is a function jumbotron. And what I did is, yeah, look in the internet for a jumbotron, copy this HTML stuff inside, and then you can give arguments. Of course, we will do this in a minute. Yeah, and now with this stuff you are able to make your block entry a little bit more beautiful. So let's say you have a block, for example. I'll show you my block. So here I have a dummy block entry. So this is like the summary, and yeah, of course you can read more. And what I want to show you is following. So this is the body, and we remove this for a moment. So this is our block, and you see this is very boring to read. There is no structure. And now with our jumbotron BB tag, I'll show you what you can do. You can say, okay, this part of my entry should look more nice, for example, until here. And of course one can think about these arguments, but we leave it for a moment. And now check the result. with an easy BBCode, no HTML needed, you are able to give your blog more structure like this. Isn't that beautiful? And of course, one can think about an argument for the title, for example, title, and put it here. One can think about the image. You give an argument for the image also, and so on. And all we need is to so let's see it. Now we allow an argument. We allow an argument for the title, and we know that we can get access to this argument via string 1. Here is the title work. We can change it. Let's see if we can do this. Wow. Let's say title see the result, for example. Okay. Now we save it. Okay. Now we can check it if it works. Here should be see the result. Yeah, we got it. See the result. Okay. Yeah, and of course, you know where it goes. Yeah, we need of course the second argument. We will give it the second argument. We go to the Bootstrap helper, and our text is here. Until there. Content and pass it. Okay, let's check. Now this text should be converted in another text. Yes, here it is, lorem ipsum, and so on. Okay, very nice. And of course, you know where it goes. We can think about a third argument for the image and stuff like that. Okay, this is like the basic idea with the callback. And for example, one can think about, if you want to give an overview what you can expect in this post, we can think about TOC. I call it TOC for table of contents, and we see if we can make this. What does the TOC tag do? So table of contents, then we need the title of our content, for example overview. We close it, and here we are able to put our main points, for example first, why to use BBCode, second, security, third, example, and we need a delimiter or a separator, and I decided for 2 semicolons, and with this semicolon our BBCode parser understands that these are 3 points, and we check the result. And now there should be a nice table of content. Yeah, there it is. Overview, table of content. There is a S. Why is there a S? There it is. Okay. And yeah, what is it doing? We take the third argument, we explode it with the separator in a variable like list, and then we loop it. And yeah, you can guess this is an unordered list. Then yeah, here we loop it, and the first argument is the title. It is here, and one can think about a footer, and all this HTML is the bootstrap card, and the result is very beautiful in my opinion. If you want, you can use, for example, also background, for example, warning, and check it. Feel free to do whatever you like. Now it should be in an orange color, yeah, like that. Yeah, so you are very flexible using callback functions. Of course, you can use this also for an argument. You can think about how to pass it via an argument. Yeah, and of course, one can think about a slider tag or a carousel. Yeah, and there are many nice ways to structure your blog entry. Yeah, here's an overview, then with a nice picture, and the next one. Yeah, you see there are many possibilities, and this is what I want to show you, how to use BBCodes for structuring your blog. This is very beautiful. The big advantage is, in my opinion, there is no need to make here some working with div tags and stuff like that. All you need is define a nice BB tag. This is very beautiful in my opinion. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this small tutorial. Have fun with it, and I hope it's useful for you. See you next time. Bye bye.